Tiffany gives birth to a demon doll baby, and then that leads into See the Chucky, which came out years later in 2004.
With the ugliest kid doll I've ever seen.
Yeah, Glenn and Glenda.
Hate it. I hate it so much.
See the Chucky's generally considered the worst in the franchise, but I don't think that's true.
Mm.
It has a lot of really good ideas and concepts in it. The problem is, it came out in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's enough.
I don't remember any movie that's come out in 2004. So,
do you know the type of movies that were coming out in the early 2000s?
No. I know.
You blocked it out because you got PTSD.
I think what I remember is watching Disney Channel movies in 2004.
The early 2000s was crazy. I don't know what the hell was going on. There must have been something in the drinking water. Because I feel like you could get arrested for some of the movies that came out in the early 2000s.
Well, that sounds amazing then.
No, it wasn't good.
2004 movies.
No, it was not good. It was not a good time. All the jokes came down to, haha, fat, fart jokes, haha, gay, shit jokes.
Sounds like my kind of movies.
Terrible time to be alive. I would not want to go back, even though I do like the music and fashion of the early 2000s.
Okay.
But I wouldn't want to go back to the movies. No, thank you.
Oh, what else came out in 2004? I honestly just don't know. Hello? Well, no, you need to answer that. What about your car's extended warranty?
I don't have a car.
Whatever.
So this one's even more of a straight comedy than Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky was like a self-referential Scream, but with Chucky and Tiffany. See the Chucky is weird. It's a strange movie. It's a very confused movie because it came out in 2004, so it has all the weird early 2000s offensiveness, like sex comedy, but like weirdness.
Yeah.
But it's also trying to be progressive in a way. So
that sounds gross.
It's confused.
Yeah.
It doesn't know its audience it needs to be, too. It kind of reminds me of like a lot of the progressive, like ridiculous sort of queer movies from the 70s.
Okay.
Like Rocky Horror or Shock Treatment. But like early 2000s. And so it doesn't really work out because it doesn't know who it wants watching the movie.
Yeah.
So I do like a lot of the meta-ness of See the Chucky. If anything, I think the script deserved a script doctor or something.
Yeah.
Because there's some really funny concepts in it that I really like. And they don't focus enough on it. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say how See the Chucky starts because a lot of shit happens in it. A lot of weird stuff. All over the place stuff.
Yeah.
So Glenn and Glenda, right, is the Tiffany and Chucky's child. And were raised in Britain. Right? So they have a British accent. And the puppeteer abuses them and then they escape. Right? And they're like, oh, I have this heart of Dimbala with me. I can find my parents. Right? So they go to Hollywood. And what's happening in Hollywood is they're making a meta Chucky and Tiffany movie. And Jennifer Tilly is a character in it. And she's playing Tiffany.
Yeah, I know this plot. I know this.
And so they made these little Tiffany and Chucky dolls, right? And Jennifer Tilly plays Tiffany.
Yeah.
And she's her own character. And So Glenn and Glenda go to, finds the dolls, Tiffany and Chucky, and brings them back to life with the heart of Damballa.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, oh, what the hell? We have a son. And Tiffany's like, no, we have a daughter. You know, they're like, because Glenn and Glenda is gender fluid, right?
Uh-huh.
And so a big thing of the movie is Chucky and Tiffany being like, I want a daughter. No, I want a son. And Glenn and Glenda's like, can I be both? And Chucky's like, and Tiffany at first is like, well, some people. And Chucky's like, no! No!
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Okay, right. Basically what happens is Tiffany's like, oh my god, Jennifer Tilly's playing me. She's perfect for the part. And Chucky's like, yeah, and her voice. It's basically a weird slasher family comedy.
Okay.
Yeah. So they hide out in Jennifer Tilly's house for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And they kill people along the way. John Waters is in it, which is really cool. He gets killed by acid to the face. But Tiffany's like, I want to be in Jennifer Tilly's body, right? And Jennifer Tilly wants better, more serious roles than being the wife of a puppet.
Yeah.
Right? So Redman's in the movie. Do you remember Redman?
I don't.
Yeah. Early 2000s. He's in the movie, right? And he's making a movie in the movie, right? And Jennifer Tilly wants to be in it. And so Tiffany and Chucky are like, oh, we'll just go into their bodies, right? But they're like, but we got this kid now. So they want to have...
I remember Redman. I just looked it up. Yeah.
So they want Redman to sleep with Jennifer Tilly and get her pregnant so that when they possess the bodies, they all have their own selective bodies to go into.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Fucked up stuff happening, right? I should remind you, some people forget this for some reason, but Tiffany and Chucky are not good people. They're serial killers, and they have no boundaries for anyone else.
I'm pretty sure they're, like, the best people.
Yeah, they're good people.
I love them.
I will say, I think, for the most part, they're pretty good parents, though. You know? Chucky takes a little bit longer to get used to the idea. I
don't remember the kid ever being in anything else.
They've been name dropped.
Okay.
So they're clearly still around. We don't know the status of them at the moment, though.
Okay.
But so what happens is, Glenn and Glenda's like, what am I? You know, because they're gender fluid. And there's some really, like, they bring up these concepts. It's very earnest. It's a little, they don't handle it well at the end.
Yeah.
But it was one of the first movies that introduced me to the concept of gender fluidity. Like, that's never happened before. And I can't even imagine being someone who was gender fluid at the time and being like, hey, this movie here, you know. They don't handle the concept too well at the end, but for the most part, like, the conversations they have about it with Glenn and Glenda are pretty good, I would say. Because Tiffany wants a girl and Chucky wants a boy, right? And Glenn and Glenda isn't either, or is both, right? And Tiffany actually sort of comes around to the concept of it.
Yeah.
But Chucky's like, what? What? No, wait! What is this?
Wait, no, I'm a conservative serial killer. No.
Right. What's funny, though, is Glenn and Glenda also wants to be a pacifist. They don't want to kill.
I hate them.
And that's the main conflict between them and Chucky.
I hate them only because they won't kill. Like, that's a family of serial killers. And
says in the movie,
oh,
he's like,
my God.
In this family we kill. So what happens for most of the movie, and here's where I say it's very confused, right? I think they bring up the movie itself that's happening in the movie, and they don't go back to it really. And I would like the movie I think Seed of Chucky would have been a little better if they continued with the sort of meta-narrative of Chucky and Tiffany have to pretend to be Chucky and Tiffany in this movie, and actually they're killing the actors.
Yeah.
You know, that would be cool.
That sounds cool. That's a good concept.
This is where I say it's like it could have used a script doctor or something.
I feel like in general movies need more script doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why there isn't.
Yeah.
Or if there is, I don't know what the script doctors are doing.
Right. I think for the most part, like, there were a lot of really cool concepts in here, but it just gets confused and a little muddled. Like, they keep doing different things all over the place.
Yeah.
And they started out with this meta-narrative of Chucky and Tiffany being in their own movie, and I think they should have stuck with it, but they kind of forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would have been really cool. I think it would have been hilarious to have Chucky and Tiffany play themselves in a made-up movie, and then they're killing the actors, and everyone's like, man, those actors are really good. You know? Like, that would have been great.
That would have been really fun. That would have been a good comedy horror movie.
Yeah, I think that would have been amazing. You could still keep Glenn and Glenda. You could keep the concept of them struggling with gender fluidity and pacifism.
Yeah.
But they get confused. Like, they keep bringing up different things happening. Like, there's this subplot that Jennifer Tilly has where she's like, I'm a washed-up actress, and I'm getting fat. You know?
Okay.
And it's like, you kind of could have dropped that. You could have dropped the whole subplot.
Can't because it's 2004.
Exactly. That's kind of the thing I was saying, where 2004 kind of makes it confused.
Yeah.
You could have dropped the whole plot with Redman. I mean, he's not really in the movie for the most part, and he just dies anyways. Tiffany kills him because she's pissed off by how misogynistic he is. So she guts him at the table.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right for a rapper
from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so Chucky's like, "What the fuck? That was my body. I was supposed to go into that, and you ruined it, right?" But so Glenn and Glenda is like, "Can you guys stop killing?" Right? Tiffany says, "Yeah, I'll stop killing," and she genuinely really tries. Right? Because that's what her kid wants.
Your kid can do whatever you want and whatever they want. Mm-hmm. You better not stop killing.
Well, Tiffany, she treats it like she's addicted to killing, and so she goes on a 12-step program to stop killing.
She goes on a 12-step program.
And then Chucky says, "Yeah, I'll stop killing," and he has his fingers crossed behind his back, and he's killing.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, so Chucky and Tiffany are like, "Yeah, we'll stop killing. We're doing this for our kid. We'll stop." Right? Fortunately, Chucky kills, and Glenn and Glenda sees it. And Chucky's like, "Don't bring this up with your mother." You know? And then Tiffany kills Redman, and she's like, oh no. And Glenn and Glenda's there, and she's like, "Don't tell Dad." You know, there's some funny moments in this movie. But eventually what happens is Glenn and Glenda is like, they treat like Glenn and Glenda's gender fluidity like it's a split personality.
Oh,
it falls into
okay.
It gets a little worse than that. So what happens is they switch to their female persona, and she's crazy and she'll kill people. You know. And and that's the Glenda part, you know, and the Glenn part is
that's a very 2000s look at what gender fluid
very
is.
2000s,
yeah.
Very 2000s. They were very earnest in their attempt, but then it got confused. And then Glenn is the pacifist boy, right? Tiffany and Chucky, they impregnate Jennifer Tilly with Chucky's own sperm. So she gets so it's a voodoo pregnancy. She gets pregnant overnight. Like,
oh my God,
really pregnant overnight.
Yeah.
And they tie her up in the bed so that they can transfer her body. And then but then Tiffany and Chucky get in a fight where they see that they've killed people. They broke their code or whatever. And Tiffany's like, it's just an addiction. I'm sorry. And Chucky's like, it is not an addiction. It is a choice. I like killing, you know? And they get in a fight about that. Chucky realizes he doesn't really want to go into a human body. He realized, so this is the first time in the whole franchise where he's like, no, I kind of like being a killer doll.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never grow old. I'm a notorious slasher. You know, I kind of like this, and I got a whole family with me now. You know, and it's a really cute moment. But Tiffany's like, I don't understand. I want to be a person again. Right. So she goes into Jennifer Tilly's body, not before they break up again. And Tiffany's been a really good mom to Glenn and Glenda, so Glenn and Glenda's on Tiffany's side for the most part. But Chucky's like, he kills Tiffany because, you know, she's like, no, I'm not gonna do this, right? And, but after she dies, the spell had gone through, so she went into Jennifer Tilly's body. And then Glenn and Glenda kill Chucky, right? So Chucky's dead, and then Glenn and Glenda get transferred into Jennifer Tilly's fetus.
Oh, okay.
So she gives birth to Glenn and Glenda again. Here's where the issue is. They get born into twins, so one's a girl and one's a boy. Yeah. Early 2000s, you know. But now Tiffany is Jennifer Tilly, so it's her in there, and she's like, yeah, I'm rich and famous now.
I mean, the only way that they could kind of maybe fix it is if the twins are then, like, feel like the other sex or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the other gender.
I don't know if they're still twins at this moment.
They can't retcon that, can they?
I wonder if they did. They haven't mentioned anything.
Okay.
They've only mentioned
Glenn and Glenda.
Glenn and Glenda, and they've mentioned that they're gender fluid still.
Okay.
So at least one of the twins is gender fluid.
Okay.
I don't even know if they're still twins again, or if it's back to normal, how they were in the movie. I would actually kind of prefer if they retcon that, but I would understand if they didn't.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, they wrote that, and now they you know, stick with what you wrote for the most part. Chucky comes back as a doll at the end, and then we don't get another Chucky movie until 2013, which is Curse of Chucky. For the most part, from what I can tell...
That's the best year, is 2013.
Yeah.
Because the next Riddick movie came out that year, too.
Yeah. I didn't watch it.
I love Riddick. I just rewatched the first two movies. I've never seen the third one. I just know the third one came out in 2013.
So Seed of Chucky was the first time that Don Mancini directed for a Chucky movie.
Yeah. And
it was also his last theatrical release. It did not do well.
Okay. Yeah.
People hated it. I liked it, though, for the most part. It's ridiculous, and it's definitely not for everyone, and they didn't handle gender fluidity very well, but I like that they brought it up and they treated it seriously for the most part.
I'm surprised, though, even though Chucky is super, super, super big now, after 3 movies being bad in a span of, like, 10 years?
A little more than 10.
A little bit of 10 years. And then wait another few years to make another one, or another 9 years to make another one. I'm surprised they even kept making movies in general after 3 basically flops.
Yeah, well, that's the passion behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Bride of Chucky wasn't a flop. Bride of Chucky
was it not?
Yeah, I mean, people talk about how they're like, oh, it went bad after Bride of Chucky. But that one was a really successful movie.
Oh, okay.
So there was one flop, Child's Play 3. Bride of Chucky did really, really well. And then Seed of Chucky flopped. But I like it. I'm a Seed of Chucky apologist. Yeah. So, for the most part, from what I assume, up until Curse, Tiffany lives as Jennifer Tilly. And she and the doll Chucky get back together, I'm assuming, as her human and him a doll. And they raise their kids together for the most part. And it's so for those years they're just having their domestic serial killer life. Really cute, good stuff.
Yeah.
In Curse, it seems like Tiffany and Chucky, Glenn and Glenna must be old enough to look after themselves at this point. Maybe not an adult yet. We don't know how old they are.
Yeah.
But we don't see them we don't even get a mention about them until the series.
Oh, okay.
So the next two movies, Curse and Cult, due to copyright reasons, they couldn't mention Glenn and Glenda.
Oh.
They were going to in the original script for Cult.
Why copyright reasons?
I don't know, but that's what Jennifer Tilly said. She said they were originally going to talk about Glenn and Glenda in Cult. But they couldn't for copyright reasons. And so they talked about something else.
Okay.
So Curse came out in 2013. It's the first straight to DVD
I think
Chucky
that's the
movie.
first actual time you've opened and actually looked at your notes.
No, that's not true.
Well, you've like opened it and kind of looked at it every once in a while, but you haven't like actually like looked at it until now. And I'm like, you've written so much down, and only now you're actually looking.
I remembered what I wrote, I guess.
Yeah.
Curse, I put on the same level, and I know this is controversial. I put this on the same level as the first Child's Play in terms of my enjoyment of them.
Okay.
So, because it's the first straight to DVD, the budget went down a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those horror movies where it's like there's one location and it's a big mansion.
Yeah. Yay, we get a bottle episode.
Yeah, basically. And I kind of like it. I think it works.
Okay.
For the movie. The only issue is the animatronics a little rough. Like you could tell that this is a puppet. Before, they used so many different things. Like they would do puppet, animatronic, a little person in a Chucky outfit. You know, that kind of thing. And they would mix it up enough that you couldn't tell which was which.
Yeah.
And it was really seamless. Now you can tell it's a puppet.
Oh, okay.
Because of budgetary reasons. I think in this case, though, it kind of works for the creep factor. Because Chucky's animatronic in this movie is really creepy. Like, he looks scary. And that's partially due to the makeup that he's supposed to be wearing to cover his scars. So Tiffany must have put makeup on him before she shipped him to the house.
Yeah.
So, in Curse, Chucky and Tiffany must have decided that they're going to get revenge on all the people that wronged them in their old lives before, Chucky went into the doll.
Yeah.
So they go to the Pierce family, which is Sarah Pierce, the old woman, and her daughter Nika Pierce, who's in a wheelchair. And they live together in a mansion. In like this big house.
Yeah.
And so Chucky gets shipped to the house. Tiffany must have shipped him. She covered his scars with makeup and then shipped him to the house. And neither of them, obviously, they're like, what? No return address. Who sent this? Sarah's unnerved by it, so she throws him in the garbage. And in the next night, she's killed by Chucky.
Okay.
And then, so Nika calls the police, and then the whole family comes over for the night to stay. So Nika's sister, her husband, their daughter, and then the daughter's nanny. And then the daughter's nanny come to stay.
Okay.
With Nika. And the daughter is a bitch. Or no, the sister, Nika's sister, is a bitch. She wants to sell the house and put Nika into a home. Because apparently wheelchair people, they can't take care of themselves.
Okay. I think I've heard this plot before. I think I have.
Yeah. They also invite a pastor.
Yeah.
And the sister's having an affair with the nanny.
Yeah.
So lesbians.
Okay.
And so what happens is Chucky basically kills the pastor first by putting rat poison in the food.
Yeah.
So he drives off. They don't even know he's dead, but he gets in a car crash, and then his head decapitates.
Jeez.
So Chucky obviously makes friends with the little girl, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that he's a person and walking around and stuff. But obviously no one believes the little kid. And she's like, he's my friend. You know?
Yeah.
And, we actually, it's kind of designed the same way of, like, the first Child's Play, where Chucky doesn't talk for a good portion of the movie.
Okay.
Because when Curse of Chucky came out, they kind of bait and switch you, like, ooh, is it a remake?
Oh, okay.
You know, so it tricked people into thinking, oh, this might be a remake. So they're restarting everything.
Yeah.
Not true. Narratively, it is right after Seed of Chucky. But I kind of like that little bait and switch.
Yeah.
So he kills, the pastor, and then he kills the nanny by electrocuting her, and then the power goes out. Mm-hmm. Right. Then he, the sister finds out about Chucky in the attic. She's looking for Alice, because Alice is missing now.
Yeah.
Because Chucky put her in a closet while he kills everyone in the house.
Okay.
And so the sister finds him in the attic, and it's a really actually effective, creepy moment with her peeling the makeup off. And revealing his scars.
Yeah. I think I've seen that scene. Yeah.
Yep. And so he comes alive and stabs her in the eyeballs. Yeah. And then rolls her down the stairs where Nika sees her.
Yeah.
And at this point, Nika sort of figured out that the doll is Charles Lee Ray.
Okay.
And so, but she tries to convince the husband, but the husband thinks that Nika killed everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And they still don't know where Alice is. And so the husband knew that his wife was having an affair, so he put a camera in Chucky, like way at the beginning. And so he looks at the camera, and as soon as he finds out that Chucky's real, Chucky kills him from behind, right? So it's just Nika in the house. Alice is hidden in a closet.
Yeah.
And so Nika tries to kill Chucky. She hides. He damages her. Police break in because they think there's some foul play with the pastor.
Yeah.
Pastor. And then Nika takes the fall for all the crimes.
Okay.
So they think that Nika went crazy, killed everyone in the house, and blamed the doll.
Yeah.
And the reason that Chucky went to this family specifically is because Nika's mom, Sarah, was someone that Chucky was obsessed with when he was a human.
Oh, okay.
So, right around the time when he was being killed, while he was dating Tiffany, by the way, he started getting obsessed with, like, having a normal family life.
Oh,
and Sarah Pierce gave the illusion of having normal, like, being normal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he got obsessed with her. He killed her husband, kidnapped her, and then the police show up, and he thinks that she did it, right? And stabs her while she's pregnant, which is why Nika's in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Right? Heavy stuff. Very controversial at the time. People didn't really like this sort of retcon. But I've grown used to it. They've changed some things about his origin, though. So, at the time, we thought Sarah had called the police.
Yeah.
And like he did. But we'll find out later. Tiffany was the one that had called the police.
Oh, okay.
Because she was pissed at Chucky. Because Chucky, while he wasn't sleeping with Sarah, he was clearly having some kind of emotional affair.
Yeah.
And she thought that was really suspicious, that he kept disappearing.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so, she had called the police on him.
Mm-hmm.
And, then, she must have found the ring on the mantle and thought, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And, so, that happens. Cult of Chucky is Nika. That one came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Nika's in an asylum. I may have ruined our audio.
Why?
You should go back and listen to what I just did. I didn't even mean to.
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna delete it anyways. But why?
I think it's better if you hear it just while you're editing.
Oh my god. Okay. Sure. I'm gonna hear some porn, or what am I gonna hear? Okay.
Porn
would have been better.
Would have been better. Yeah. No, I was just scrolling through my feed. It was bad. God, where was I?
The Cult of Chucky.
Cult of Chucky, yeah. Cult of Chucky came out in 2017, directed and written by Don Mancini again. Ooh. Most of these after Seed. Yeah, after Seed, most of all of them are directed and written by Don Mancini. He's done all of them.
Okay.
After that part.
Is he directing the show as well too?
Yeah, he did the show. He directed and wrote the show. The show's very personal to him, and I'll get into that. So Cult, Nika goes to an asylum. Chucky shows up there because Tiffany delivers the Chucky doll, and then one of the inmates has a Chucky doll. So there's 2 Chucky dolls, but which one's the real Chucky?
Oh yeah.
You know. Tiffany is foster mom to Alice. Mm-hmm. But she comes by to say that Alice is dead to Nika.
Yeah.
And so Nika tries to kill herself, right? Because that was the only person she cared about left. And but Chucky saves her because he's walking around now in the asylum. But we don't know which one it is. And so Nika's like, "Oh, Chucky did it. He's killing people all in the asylum." And other people are like, "No, Nika did it because she's the killer." You know.
Yeah.
And then there's this one inmate that she's friends with who's got like multiple personalities. So, but like they're specifically powerful people.
Okay.
And one of them is Charles Lee Ray. But believe it or not, he's not possessed by Charles Lee Ray. He just thinks he is.
Yeah.
There's a corrupt doctor who's taking care of Nika. And he's got like a sexual fantasy with her. So he hypnotizes her. Mm-hmm. Until she's like, you know, does whatever he wants and she doesn't remember it the next day. And Chucky's like, God, I wish I was that evil. When he found out about the doctor, he's like, holy shit! I don't know whether to kill him or take notes. And then Andy's in this movie, right? Because at the end of Curse, Andy got delivered a Chucky doll, and that's the original Scar Chucky that Andy got delivered, and that's the one he's torturing at the beginning of Cult. Mm-hmm. So Andy sends a Chucky to the asylum, right? And he cut off all the hair on this one, so he would recognize this one. And so there are 3 Chuckies running around now. Chucky is like, I was never gonna kill you, Nika. I just needed to use you, right? And so there's 3 Chuckies possessed. And Chucky says that he found this new spell on voodooForDummies.com that he can split his soul up into pieces and put it into multiple guys' dolls.
Yeah.
Right? So there are 3 Chuckies now. The main one in the middle, he goes into Nika's body, right? And can walk around now because possession gives you legs.
Okay.
And he kills the doctor in Nika's body. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 Chuckies, right? The one with the short hair goes after Andy, who shows up at the asylum. Yeah. Right? And then the other Chucky stays in the asylum to kill people. Right? Mm-hmm. Andy kills that Chucky because he had hid a gun in it. Mm-hmm. And so he rips his stomach open and shoots him. Oh, yeah,
I remember that.
and stomps on his head. And Nika Chucky locks him in the asylum, though, and runs off with Tiffany. Mm-hmm. And Tiffany's got her own... She must have split her soul into one piece because she's got her own Tiffany doll in the back.
Oh yeah.
And they laugh and they drive off together to wreak havoc. And that's the end of Cult of Chucky.
I love Cult of Chucky. Cult of Chucky has my favorite quote.
Yeah.
Out of everything. It's like, I get to kill Andy. No, I get to kill Andy. Guys! Points at his hair.
Look at my hair.
Oh, all right. Shit,
you win. Oh, absolutely. Sorry, pal. You go fuck him up real good. Some people don't like Cult. But I think there's some good moments in Cult. I like that there's more Tiffany in it.
Yeah.
Because she was barely in Curse. She showed up at the end of Curse.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was basically a reveal that it's not a remake, it's a continuation.
Yeah.
But she shows up a little bit in Cult. There's more of her, but not enough to quench my thirst.
Yeah.
Right? And Cult of Chucky directly leads into the Chucky Show, which just wrapped up roughly a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And they got renewed for season 2.
Okay.
So, that one starts with completely new characters. Half of the show is mostly these new characters. The legacy characters don't show up until halfway through the series.
Mm.
So, this is a new Chucky now, because he's been split up into a bunch of different pieces. So, they're all new, different Chucky. They get the same memories, but they all have their own different experiences once they're split up. So, this Chucky was dropped off by Tiffany at a yard sale.
Yeah.
And then Jake Wheeler, who's our main character for the show, picks up the doll because he likes doing doll sculptures. So he likes taking, old dolls and turning them into creepy statues.
Yeah.
My kind of kid. Honestly. And he also listens to a crime podcast that's done by his crush.
Okay.
So his crush talks... This is back in Hackensack, which is Chucky's hometown.
Yeah.
Tiffany and Chucky have decided to move to Hackensack to basically start their big plan of having Chucky's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Right? Tiffany's such a devoted wife.
Yeah.
Because most of this is her doing all this shit. She's using her status as Jennifer Tilly to get into all these venues and stuff to prop up the good guy dolls so that everyone has one, and then Chucky's are all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? She also buys Chucky's old childhood home where his parents were murdered.
Yeah.
He didn't kill his dad, but he did kill his mom.
Okay.
So there are flashbacks throughout the series of Chucky's childhood and teenagehood and then adulthood.
Okay.
Chucky has his house broken into by a serial killer who was going around the neighborhood at the time, and he was killing his dad. And Chucky runs up and hides in the closet with his mom. And when the killer gets to the closet, he finds out that Chucky killed his mom. And Chucky's like, I helped!
Jesus.
And the serial killer's like, yeah, you sure did, champ.
What is a serial killer? Is it just like a serial killer?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It was a serial killer, and the serial killer's like, yeah, you're going places, kid. Here's a knife.
What the fuck? So Chucky's just been weird.
So it was so funny, because before that episode came out where it was revealed, right? People were starting to worry that they were going to go like Rob Zombie Halloween with it.
Oh, yeah.
They were worried that they were going to be like, oh, actually, Chucky had a tragic backstory, and that's why he's a killer.
Yeah.
And the show's like, ha! You thought? You thought that was good? He's evil all the time. He was always evil. As a little kid, and he is now. So he killed his mom. He was going to do it anyways at some point. He was going to kill someone at some point.
Yeah.
But his mom is his first kill. And the serial killer who saw that spares Chucky's life because he's like, this kid's going places. He takes Chucky's knife and he wipes it down for him and hands it back. And then he's like... and
God damn it.
And Chucky's like, yeah, some killers are made, but the best ones are born. And then Chucky goes into a foster home in his teenage years, and he meets Eddie Caputo, who's from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows Eddie Caputo. He kills the janitor in the foster home, and then goes on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically to show that Chucky has always wanted to make other people killers.
Yeah, yeah.
So Eddie Caputo, who he was kind of mentoring, because he was the teenager and Eddie was like a little kid.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, here, look at this dead body that I found spontaneously. And Eddie's like, wow, cool. And Chucky's like, he takes the janitor's hand and puts it in a box and gives it to Eddie. Uh-huh. And Eddie's like, thanks.
Okay.
And then there's another, and then we find out how Chucky met Tiffany.
Uh-huh.
Right? Who, Tiffany seems like was another serial killer.
Yeah.
Right? And so Chucky met this girl at a club back in the 80s, and they find this other girl, right? Who's Tiffany, by the way.
Yeah.
And they decide to go back to the hotel room, and Chucky and the girl that he got with, like, it's assumed that they're gonna kill Tiffany together.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but when he's about to stab Tiffany, Tiffany's like, fucking do it. Yeah, I love this. Right? And Chucky's like, oh, okay. And so he stabs the other girl, and then he hands the knife to Tiffany, and she stabs her too, and then they get together. You know, they're in love for it. You know?
In love-hate relationship for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, basically. There's no other person for them, really. Mm-hmm. They're perfect for each other. They just
are idiots.
Yeah. They're just all over the place. They have such emotional whiplash with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how they got together, and they get an apartment in Chicago. And then that sort of leads into the Chucky finding Sarah Pierce and then disappearing, and Tiffany being suspicious and calling the cops on him. Mm-hmm. Which leads him to get killed and put into the Chucky doll. And that's a whole thing. But Chucky doesn't know any of that about Tiffany. Like, he didn't know that Tiffany called the cops on him. But that gets revealed to Chucky later.
Yeah. When
Tiffany's, like, at her wit's end with him. Yeah. She's fucking pissed at him because he's an asshole. Yeah. Right? He's not a good boyfriend. He could be better. Mm-hmm. He knows how to be better. You think he would learn by now not to piss Tiffany off. Yeah. But I guess not. Basically, she's like, you fucking idiot. Who do you think called the cops on you? You stupid asshole. And it's a whole thing. Some people don't like that reveal. Yeah. And I can understand why. Mm-hmm. Like, some people think, oh, you've ruined the relationship for us. Yeah. Right? I don't think so. I think they'll get back together. Yeah. Because they're perfect for each other, really. Mm-hmm. But that's gets revealed later at the end of the season. Okay. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens. I don't know if I can get into all of it, because even though it's only 8 episodes, a lot happens in those 8 episodes. Okay. But basically, the gist is, because this is such a... Don Mancini said that this was important to him, like, emotionally, because mm-hmm. Jake Wheeler is a gay kid who's got a crush on another boy. And that's Don Mancini's sort of lived experiences, because Don Mancini is gay. Okay. And the queer themes throughout all of Chucky have been there since the beginning, roughly. Yeah. It even started with the first one, although a lot less. Like, the first 3 are a lot less. Yeah, yeah. But definitely after Bride, it's stayed. Yeah, yeah. Of course. I mean, the gender fluidity. The fact that Chucky has possessed Nika, and he's a he-him lesbian. Yeah. You know? The fact that Tiffany is like, yeah, I'll fuck you in whatever body that you're in. Yeah. You know? It's all around. Kind of just like they're both pansexual for each other. Yeah, right. Correct. And you know, Glenn and Glenda too. At this point, they've accepted So they name dropped Glenn and Glenda.
Yeah.
And they've accepted.
I bet everybody cheered.
Yeah.
Everybody watching the show cheered.
Yeah. In the second episode, Chucky's trying to manipulate Jake into becoming a killer. Basically, what he wants is an army of kid killers.
Yeah.
So that he can... So the thing is he wants innocents to be corrupted so that he can go into their bodies and then basically kill people.
Yeah.
In all different kinds of bodies all over the place. And so when he's trying to manipulate Jake, right, he's like, I got a queer kid. And Jake's like, you have a kid? And he's like, gender fluid. And what's funny is Jake's like, and you're cool with that? And Chucky's like, I'm not a monster, Jake. Jake's like, no, but you are, though. You are. You killed the housekeeper and my dad. But that's the name drop we get sort of for Glenn and Glenda. And then later Tiffany is like, oh, Glenda made me this bomb. They're so creative, Yeah. So that's what we get of Glenn and Glenda. We haven't seen them yet. We don't even know what they're doing right now or what their status is, but we know they're around, and we know that Chucky and Tiffany are still like taking care of them.
Yeah.
In contact with them. Like I said, they're horrible serial killers and they're evil, but they're good parents.
So, how far does he really get to the kid to really like be evil?
Jake doesn't.
He doesn't.
No, he wants to kill his bully at first.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. She's horrible. She dresses up as his dead dad at a Halloween party.
Jesus.
Yeah. She's the worst. But she actually gets a redemption. Mm-hmm. And at first, some people are like, ugh, I hate her. I don't want her to get a redemption. But she's actually one of the best characters in the show now.
I think it's funny that everybody gets really, really mad whenever there's a redemption arc for any, like, shitty character.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's, like, the purpose of most movies is to redeem a shitty character for the main character. Yeah. And then when a side character does it, everybody gets mad.
Yeah. Right. How dare you? How dare you? I like them evil. I think that's the case sometimes.
Yeah.
When they overdo it. Like, My Little Pony like to do that whole, let's redeem every villain. And then, but at the end there, they were like, okay, we're going to stop redeeming every villain.
Uh-huh. I mean, I think that's every anime ever, too, though.
Yeah, it is every anime ever, too. It's even worse than My Little Pony. Mm-hmm. At least My Little Pony was like, we're not going to do that for every villain.
Thank God they didn't do that to Madara. Thank God.
Yeah, sometimes the evil characters are better. Mm-hmm. But Chucky fails in getting Jake to become a killer. Mm-hmm. So him and Lexi are the only ones that know what Chucky, so they have to work together to fight him. And then Devin, the kid that he has a crush on, also finds out about Chucky. So it's a trio of misfits fighting against Chucky. And then there's Junior, who's Jake's cousin, and he's now left out of the loop because he doesn't know about Chucky, and he's like, what the why are they hanging out? You know? So he starts feeling isolated and lonely, and his mom got cancer, right? And Chucky kills her,
Oh my God.
And then, Tiffany works with Chucky, and she makes it seem like Junior's dad was having an affair with Tiffany. Yeah. So now Junior's got all this pent-up rage, and he ends up killing his dad with Chucky. Yeah. And when I say with Chucky, he took Chucky and hit him.
Oh, Jesus.
He beat him to death. He took Chucky and caved his head in. Chucky had a whole fun time with that. I bet he was having the time of his life. Yeah. Yeah, because he looks like he was having so much fun being used as like a swing, as a bat. So Junior is the one that ends up becoming the killer that Chucky wanted. Yeah. Andy and Kyle are on their way to stop whatever Tiffany and Chucky are going to do. Uh-huh. and it looks like Kyle may have died in the explosion that Tiffany has on Chucky's old house.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of twists and turns.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm kind of jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
Tiffany and Nika Chucky, right? Nika Chucky's been fading out between Nika and Chucky.
Okay.
So sometimes Nika shows up and she's like, where am I? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she's trying to pretend that she's Chucky for Tiffany. And Tiffany's like, hi, Nika. Yeah. And Nika finds out that Tiffany has grown like an obsession with Nika.
Uh-huh.
Like, she's like, sometimes I see you, and then I see Chucky, and I know that it's you, not Chucky, and I live for those moments. Like, He's gotten kind of obsessed with Nika. And she's like, I've hung out with Chucky a lot, and I've hung out with you a lot, and I gotta say I like you better.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But it's kind of similar to the obsession that Chucky had with Nika's mom.
That's what I was thinking.
Which is so funny. It kind of seems like the Pierce family is cursed with the Rays being obsessed with them. So it's a weird, like, family curse between the two of them. Because the way that Tiffany acts around Nika is very obsessive and stalkerish.
Yeah.
And creepy. And I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's obviously not gonna go anywhere other than a bad direction.
Yeah, like, Nika's can never catch a break. Yeah. Nika, out of all the characters on the show, I gotta say, Nika is... She's the only one I would... He's not having a good time, ever. She's never having a good... She lost her whole family. She lost her niece. She got possessed. She's been forced to kill by Chucky's hand. And now she's got Tiffany, who's obsessed with her, tying her up and bringing her to Chucky's house and being like, this is my person. But, so Chucky in Nika's body finds out about this. Yeah. Right? And he feels betrayed. So he tries to kill Tiffany, but the other Chucky's like, no, we can't do that. Tiffany's my favorite, and also, she's the one that's doing all this shit for us. Right? Yeah. And there's this really cute moment where Tiffany looks at Nika Chucky, and she's like, fuck you, Chucky. Thank you, Chucky. and he runs in her arms, and she tickles him.
What the fuck?
And basically, and Junior's there now because he's joined them. Yeah. And that's where they have this huge fight because Nika Chucky is talking with the other Chucky that's been in the show for the most part. Yeah. There's two Chuckies running around. And Tiffany just wants Chucky to pay attention to her for a little bit. Yeah. 'Cause she's kind of clingy, but like he kind of owes her, you know. Yeah. But Nika Chucky's like, no. Right? And Tiffany's like, she smacks the shit out of him. She bitch slaps him. And he goes back to Nika. Because every time they get hit, they switch. Right? And the other Chucky's like, all right, fine. I'm sorry. I don't pay enough attention to you. Let's just solve the problem and you kill Nika. Right? But at this point, Tiffany's really obsessed with Nika, so she freaks out about that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but that's you. That's a part of you. And Chucky's like, there's plenty of me. Yeah. Who are you trying to save here? Right? So he has Junior try to kill Nika, right? Mm-hmm. And Junior doesn't know if he wants to kill someone yet. Because when he killed his dad, that was heightened emotion. Yeah. He hated his dad in that moment. You know, that made sense. But Nika's just this innocent woman, right?
Yeah, so this would be like the actual first kill.
Right, really. Right. So he's hesitating, and Tiffany chops the other Chucky's head off. Right? And she's like, what? You expect this thing to get you out of the mess that you're in, Junior? I know how to cover up bodies and get away with shit. What is he gonna do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she tells this Chucky, because he's got his head off and she's holding him. And she tells him that she called the cops on him back in the day. And he freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, because who would have expected that?
Mm-hmm.
Huge problem in the fandom. People are kind of pissed about it.
Yeah.
Again, I can headcanon, so I'm fine. But her and Junior leave the house. She leaves the bomb there that Glenn and Glenda made. And then the house explodes, and Kyle had walked in.
Oh, so that's how it looks like he died.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle may have died in the explosion. But before all of that, they had set out a whole army of Chuckies onto a delivery truck.
Yeah.
And they're gonna ship it all over across the country.
So, I have a real question.
Mm-hmm.
If in this universe they were going to make a Chucky movie, like they obviously know that Chucky is a thing and there is a cursed killing doll.
Well, they don't know. It's more like urban legend.
Oh,
it's like a famous urban legend that Chucky is a cursed killing doll.
If that is a thing, why wouldn't, like, anytime there's one of those dolls around a bunch of murders, they wouldn't just look at the doll?
Yeah. Well, the thing is like, you know how some things just become trendy or whatever, like a Ouija board or whatever? That's kind of the Chucky's legacy in the universe. So, like, in Cult of Chucky, they're like, where the hell did you get that Chucky doll? And he's like, I found it at Hot Topic. Like, Chucky's now a trendy urban legend. So, even if kids still like Chucky, but, like, obviously adults probably like Chucky too.
Yeah.
Because it's cool to have a creepy doll.
Yeah.
I can relate. I thought about getting a bunch of haunted dolls to scare my dad.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But so Tiffany breaks up officially with Chucky. But she continues with the plan. She sends out all the other Chuckies to everywhere. Junior takes one doll with him. Lexi, the bully girl's little sister, she has her own Chucky doll that's possessed too.
Yeah.
And they go into like this. This is sort of the climax to the show, where they go to a movie theater and it's Frankenstein playing, and the mayor's there, and it's like this fundraiser thing. And Chucky's watching it, and he stabs people in the asshole. He crawls under all the movie seats and starts stabbing people in the ass. It's so good.
It's so dumb.
It is my favorite thing, I think, so far in the whole franchise. He's stabbing people to death through their ass. It's great.
So dumb. That's so dumb.
Junior gets killed because he doesn't want to kill Lexi.
Okay.
And so he kills the Chucky that's trying to goad him into killing Lexi, and Chucky stabs him at the same time too. So they both die. So
I feel like there's a lot of carnage of just like all the main cast.
Oh
in
yeah,
that show.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Besides the main three, the trio, Lexi, Devin, and Jake.
Yeah.
Die.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We don't know if Kyle's dead. It's sort. Okay, I don't think she is. Because there's a shot with a glove against a tree looking at the kids while they're at the funeral. And I think that's Kyle. I don't think they would have killed Kyle so early. She's a legacy character. They're not going to kill the legacy characters. And I wouldn't want them to, honestly.
Good though.
Andy tries to run off with the truck carrying the army of Chuckies. But Tiffany had left the doll version of herself to guard over them. Yeah. And so she's holding him at gunpoint. And that's where they left off. Tiffany runs off with Nika. And she doesn't... in the case that Chucky switches back, right? She took, she mutilated Nika. So she took her legs and arms.
Jesus.
Cut them off. And so if Chucky switches back, he can't move around either.
Yeah.
So that's pretty horrifying. That's the last shot of the show.
Jeez.
And she's like, I like you a lot, Nika. But I don't know if... Who knows what Chucky would do to me if he switches back, so I took care of it. And so it was horrifying. Tiffany's really evil, but I like it that way. I like when Tiffany's evil. Mm-hmm. It's fucked. And Nika's having a bad day. Again. She can't win.
Yeah.
So what are my speculations for season 2? I think Nika's either going to get, like, Stockholm Syndrome, or there's going to be a doll Nika.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could do something with the Stockholm Syndrome, like, plot.
Yeah.
Or she gets both. She gets Stockholm Syndrome and then gets put into a doll. They're definitely not done with Nika's storyline. I'm glad she's not dead. Fiona Dourif is the one who plays Nika, and she's Brad Dourif's daughter. So she's really good at playing as Chucky.
Okay.
Like, she plays as a human Chucky. So in the flashbacks, she plays as her dad in drag.
Oh, okay.
And she looks exactly like him. All they do is put, like, a nose prosthetic on her. Yeah. And, like, a chin one. She looks exactly like him, like he did in the first movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then they ADR it, so it's Brad Dourif's voice. Mm-hmm. And it's like he's young again. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with the whole show. With season 1. There are some things that I don't really like. Yeah. You know, I don't like that Chucky and Tiffany have to have this sort of a little bit of manufactured, you know, fighting to break up again. Yeah. I think they were at a point where they didn't need to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. They've been together for like 30, 40 years happily at that point. Or at least 10 plus years happily at that point. Uh-huh. So I feel like it would have taken a lot more for Tiffany to be like, fuck you. Yeah. You know. And you would think Chucky at this point would have learned how to treat Tiffany better. Yeah. Because even in Bride of Chucky, he's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. Because I know. In the original script for Bride of Chucky, I really like the original script for Bride of Chucky. There were some things that didn't make it into the movie, but there were things where, like, I know you didn't imagine your life ending up like this, and I know that's mostly my fault. Like, that was a good line. Keep it. You know? It's cute stuff. Wholesome slasher couple. You know? I do want them to get back together, but I also kind of like this obsession that Tiffany has with Nika. Yeah. Like, it's really fucked up. I don't ship them. Yeah. But, like, I like the plot. You know? I like the idea that Tiffany is carrying on the legacy of the Rays getting obsessed with the Pierce family. Yeah. You know? I hope we see Glenn and Glenda again. And we got doll Tiffany back, too. Yeah, so there's this huge thing where do you like human Tiffany better or doll Tiffany? And I like human Tiffany more. Okay. But I do like doll Tiffany. And so now we have both. So it worked out.
Well, perfect.
Yeah, it worked out.
So I think it's interesting that they kind of just went for the whole, it doesn't matter which one is like the original.
Yeah, because the original's dead.
Since yeah. That's crazy.
I think I'm sort of speculating maybe what will happen is Chucky realizes he's gotten too out of hand with all the Chuckies and starts killing himself. Yeah. I think that would be cool. You know, too many Chuckies, and he's like, God, I hate myself. And it kills the other ones. Because let's face it, Chucky's a really big asshole, and he probably wouldn't like himself that much. You know?
Only the true Chucky would kill the other Chuckies.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's true. It's true. And I have to wonder, like, I was speculating this, like, the Chucky's souls are his soul is split up into pieces so he can go into multiple Chuckies.
Yeah.
When those Chuckies die, does that go back to all the other Chuckies? Like, that piece of that soul, like, goes back? Or does he lose it forever?
Oh, no. That's
what I was thinking of, like, Scar Chucky, the original.
Yeah.
Like, he's dead now, but do they have his memories back again? Did his piece of the soul go back to the other ones? Like, I have to wonder that. I think that would be interesting, because then that would mean... Because when Tiffany confessed that she had called the cops on him, she killed that Chucky, basically. So none of the other Chuckies would have known what she said.
Yeah.
But that would be a consequence, like, if all the soul pieces go back.
Yeah.
Then they would remember.
That's cool. I wonder. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah. And then Jake, Lexi, and Devin, I have to wonder if they're going to be in season 2 again, or if their story is going to be done for a little bit. Because it looks kind of like... I mean, I don't know what more you could do with those guys. I imagine they're going to be in season 2.
Yeah.
But it kind of looks like Andy and Tiffany are going to be the main storylines going on with season 2.
Okay.
I'm excited for season 2. I'm excited to see where it goes. Some things I didn't like, but again, I can work with the punches. I can roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I think it should be established, in case you didn't know, that Chucky's my favorite slasher.
Yeah. A little late after explaining for like 2 hours.
He's kind of my favorite because unlike a lot of slashers, he's got personality.
Yeah.
I mean, Freddy's got personality, but he's a child molester.
I like how you're okay with somebody murdering a bunch of children over...
Yes!
Like, one time in a random movie that, like, a lot of people don't like anyways.
It's not true. They confirmed that he was in the original timeline.
I know that he was. He was in the original timeline, like... Wasn't it in the original script for the first one?
Yeah,
too?
But in the subsequent sequels, they confirmed it.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't even just the remake.
Okay.
So, yeah. Freddy's got personality. He's a whole lot of fun to watch, but I can't say he's my favorite.
Yeah.
You know? I do like Jason, but again, like Jason or Michael Myers, their presence in the movies are more to be silent killers, you know? And they're not supposed to show personality if they have them, you know?
Yeah.
Especially Michael Myers. Michael Myers isn't even supposed to be a person. He's an abyss of evil.
Yeah, I hated the Holloween Kills movie because they made him into an artist.
Yeah, what was that? Why was he doing Hannibal Lecter
shit? I feel like what it should have been is that, like, because you literally watch him walk away from the park, so why would he turn around and go back to the park and then make it into an art?
Yeah.
What they should have done is, like, he walks away and everything, and then that other insane guy that was out is the one making it into an art piece. And they think it's him.
Yeah. I don't think there was a lot of smart writing going on.
No, I don't think there was at all. I think that was definitely just a filler movie for the third one.
The dialogue was so bad. Who wrote that? Who wrote Holloween Kills? I've never seen a movie that was just like, this is Haddonfield where nothing bad ever happens. Serial killer. Literally. Like, people don't talk like that.
People talk like that.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Not like he did, where he stood up in front of the cop in the window and he's like, Haddonfield, where nothing bad ever happens. Who are you talking to? Hello? Oh my god. And then I know Jeffson was getting kind of annoyed with me.
Yeah.
At the movie. But every time someone did something unbelievably stupid, I was like, no!
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, like, that was really stupid shit.
Like, the only reason they didn't kill Michael is because they had to make the people stupid as fuck.
Well, I mean, they did end up killing Michael.
They had guns.
And then yeah.
And they
then
didn't use them.
They did. They shot him.
In the shoulder.
No, he was shot 5 times, like in the chest. At the point that he fell down and he was dead for 20 seconds, and then they were like, he will never die.
They won't.
As long as there is fear, he will. And then he fucking stood up.
Yeah, and they didn't shoot him in the head.
It was in the chest. 5 times. Like, any person that, like, they've never shot in this new canon. Nobody has seen him get shot and then get up. So that was like they shot him and they killed the murderer. Well, that's what they thought.
Kill him. Well, okay, but logic dictates that he might have been wearing a bulletproof vest. Shoot him in the head. Fucking morons. The only reason they didn't effectively kill Michael and to keep him scary, which, fine, whatever, is by making everyone brain dead.
Yeah, it was real.
Oh my god.
That whole scene with them chasing that one guy in the hospital, I guess made sense in the sense of like mob mentality, but why? Why was that needed?
Well, in this it makes sense if like all the other movies were in canon, right?
Yeah.
But in the canon that Halloween Kills takes place, Michael killed like what, 5 people?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
40 years ago? You know?
I don't know.
Let's stop complaining about Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get mad again.
Let's take a break and then we'll come back to me talking about the whaling.
Yeah.
Bye.